The Optimism Club. Here Steve and Andy share their opinions on pop cultureisms, ranging from comics, movies, video games, to whatever gets invented next. Join these two heroes live from Steve's basement, and remember, stay optimistic.
Hey, welcome to the Optimism Club, volume 197. I'm Andy. That's Steve. Clear your throat there.
Yeah.
And we're back.
That'd be a funny, like, I don't know, Tim and Eric-esque bit to do just a podcast, hour to 90 minutes of people, like,
to talk.
No, yeah. And, like, we keep talking at the same time.
That actually would be a funny bit. That's, the most 2017 sketch of podcast problems.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, you go.
That might be,
yeah.
Like, you could see Saturday Night Live just tripled their writing staff for this coming season.
Really?
Because they had such, like, last year, they had such high ratings. I think it's because Trump was a big appeal. And
yeah.
It was funny, you know, they had those classic skits like David S. Pumpkins.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was a good year for
but they tripled their writing staff. That's crazy.
How many writers did they have before?
I don't know, they said they either said they brought in 26 or they currently have 26. So that means that they had roughly 9 to 10 or like 8 to 9 writers before. Michael Che's the head writer. I'll tell you.
I here's what I know about Saturday Night Live. Don't know who that is. I haven't watched an actual episode of Saturday Night Live in probably 6 years.
So have you seen any clips of the Weekend Update?
I don't think so.
Two guys.
He's one of the Weekend
Update guys. He's the black guy. There's a white guy, Colin Jost. Black guy, Michael Che. He's funny. He definitely, like, Seth Meyers I really liked during Weekend Update, and his show is funny, but he was a terrible head writer. He was in that era where the premise of the bit was Kristen Wiig comes in and acts weird, and people are weirded out by her. That's the bit.
And then they would always, back then, just do the same sketch every week for, like, 13 weeks straight.
Yeah.
With, like, little variations.
Excuse me.
It's like, we're going to do a what up with that. Here it comes.
Yeah. And just change.
That's a bad example, because I actually like that sketch. That's one of the few sketches that I find funny that Keenan does. Not because of him, though. Mostly because of Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah. But I know what you're talking about. They have, like, the bit where they had such a good cast then, too, but Bill Hader was like this old field reporter who like
just like mumbles, yeah. But that would be on every week. It's like, all right, we get it, and there's never anything different. It's just like a different person in the sketch with him.
Yeah, I think they took that idea because like they would do Church Lady a bunch of times, but they didn't do it every week.
Yeah,
they did it like twice a season,
and then sometimes they'd like replay the same fake commercial.
Yeah,
that's kind of inexcusable.
To me, that sounds like they used to not have, like, that good of a budget.
Yeah, or maybe they, like, scrapped a sketch at, like, the last minute. They're like, just replay that commercial.
Maybe. Needed to add time for a costume change.
I think the last time I watched regularly was when Kate McKinnon was a featured player, and I hated her back then. Yeah. I thought she was, like, violently unfunny, which I guess, like, shows that I got my finger right on the pulse of the comedy world, because she's the most popular now.
She's hilarious on there.
I've seen clips where I'm like, no, she is funny. She's, like, I don't know if they just weren't using her properly back then, or if I didn't know comedy back then, or what, but...
maybe she got just...
Like, I'm sure she got funnier, but, like, maybe... I bet if I went and rewatched the old things she did, they're probably not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, she's, to me, really... this cast is really fucking talented. And they have just a couple dullards on there. Keenan being one of them. Still on the fucking show.
Who all... Like, they lost, like, everybody now, right? It's all basically, like, new... Like, Kate McKinnon's part of, the old generation now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Taron Killam's gone, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Moynihan
just left. Vanessa Bayer just left.
Wow, yeah, so there's, like...
Sashir Zameda left, but she wasn't that funny.
I don't know who that is.
She's She's a younger woman, black. I don't know.
Oh, is she the one that they hired when everyone was complaining that
possibly
that there wasn't like not? I'm not saying that they like, but like SNL was like, oh yeah, you're definitely right. Like we don't have enough black people.
I think like last season or the last couple seasons was the only time they've ever had 2 black women on
That's
the show.
That's crazy. A show that's been on for how long?
Yeah,
like that's
that's
what
they
insane.
get away with. They're like, well, if we need more than one black woman, guess what? Keenan or Tim Meadows, or depending on what generation, or Tracy Morgan, you're wearing a wig.
The thing that I think is crazy is that they had for years Fred Armisen playing Obama.
Yeah, in
like
kind of a pseudo blackface.
Yeah, and like not even a good Obama impression. He didn't even change his voice.
Yeah, like I thought that some people love that shit. I thought it was terrible.
He did the Obama like mannerisms and speech pattern, but he didn't change his voice. And Fred Armisen's got like a high pitched voice, so he's like, "Hello, America, I am the president." It's like, what do you
exactly like?
like, I'm like, what is this?
I know, and it kind of like, it's what they call like, I guess, cultural appropriation or whatever. It's like, and I think they're like, we'll get away with it because Fred Armisen,
he's ambiguous looking.
He's half Hispanic or something.
Yeah,
so, and like they're like, we kind of just have him play whenever we need an Arabic Hispanic or
literally any race. Like he's played Hispanic, like Middle Eastern. He plays like even like vaguely foreign, like just anything.
And we just need to be like non-white or like because he's a good Italian, I guess. I don't know. Fred Armisen, I when he was on the show, I was always kind of like, meh, they used him too much. But I love him now. I think he's one of the funniest people to come out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they didn't really know what to do with him. And the Obama thing didn't do him any favors.
No, I think that's what soured me on him. But you know what? And they did Maya Rudolph, who's half black, but she doesn't look black.
Yeah.
They had her play Michelle, and she's played other... And I think maybe they were like, that was their bridge to going like, Fred Armisen... If we put the ears and wig on him, it'll look enough like Obama because we were not going to hire a black person.
But what was weird too is that was at the same time, like it was only a couple years into that Jay Pharoah started, and like that's Jay Pharoah's thing, is impressions.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he ever got better at sketches, but like for the most part, is he still on the show?
No.
For the most part, all he ever did was like, oh, here comes Denzel Washington into a scene, and he'd do a really good Denzel Washington impression. Not a great sketch.
That was his like only thing.
Yeah.
And like he could do timing. So like if you wrote a joke for him, he would be able to say it.
Yeah, but they never gave him anything to do.
No, and like he did Obama really well, but he was only as good as the writing.
Right.
That you could, which may
I think
I'm sure a writer would say that that's how every player is.
Yeah, they haven't like nailed I'm not a huge fan of the Alec Baldwin Trump thing, but I think it's okay. Like, I don't hate it like a lot of the internet comedy fans do.
Really?
Like, because they want the President Show guy to do it, but it's like, no, let him do his own thing. He doesn't need to go on SNL. But, like, they don't have a cast member who could play Trump. They had to bring in Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing. I'd be really pissed. And before with Trump, they had Daryl Hammond come back and play him.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, man, you won't let, like, any of us? But if you look at any of the male actors, the white male actors on there, none of them look like they could play Trump.
Moynihan could have.
Possibly.
He can look...
He was kind of... I feel he was a little in over his head at that show. Like, he wasn't as talented.
No, he's better... I feel like he's better at improv than he is at, like, scripted stuff. Yeah, although he's doing a sitcom.
I don't know, he's not an unfunny dude, but I just figured they never really figured out how to use him.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that stood out. Like, what did
they did that fucking drunk uncle thing so many times.
Yeah, that was funny the first couple times, but again, it's a case of them just redoing the same thing.
He would frequently just be like, if they needed a repairman to come in.
Oh yeah, he'd be the...
Yeah, like he'd be the, I guess, straight man or glorified extra.
Yeah, but that being said, every time he was on Comedy Bang Bang, hilarious.
Yeah, so it's not... And you know what? He was kind of the Horatio Sands of his day, because Horatio Sands, the exact same thing, was never used well on SNL, but if you know from podcast, like he might be the funniest person to go on Comedy Bang Bang, just because there's people who are genuinely funny, and then there's him who you don't know what's going on.
And I don't think he does. And then he'll find the joke halfway through. Like, he had a character that the whole bit was you couldn't tell if he was saying peanuts or penis.
Yeah, like, it's so stupid. And but I'm like, okay, clearly Horatio wasn't the problem. It was the writers and the show couldn't figure out. I think Moynihan
possibly Jimmy Fallon's fault.
If we can find a scapegoat, let's use Fallon.
Hey, no, I'm sure Fallon's a good guy.
I can't stand him.
I used to be a good person, be like, he seems nice. He hasn't done anything to harm anybody, but like now he has. He's done things to harm the country. So like,
shit with Trump.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, now like fuck that guy.
No, he'll always. That'll be a stain. If you notice too, like nobody really likes him. Like I'm sure he does really well in ratings because it's the Tonight Show.
Yeah. And all the old people just turn it on because they.
But no one gives a fuck. Like if you look at on the Twitter,
say more, Grandpa.
Who are people are sharing like Samantha Bee, John Oliver, Stephen Colbert. If they like
even Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel. Like Kimmel and Seth Meyers are like rocketing like with all the politics stuff and Trump stuff. Like they're like,
you know what? They'll sit there and trash Trump.
Yeah.
So will Colbert. Obviously Sam B and John Oliver do.
Like the main part of their.
You'll even see Trevor Noah, who unfortunately he's not as popular as Jon Stewart. Yeah. I think he's still very good.
I like him. I like Trevor Noah.
How do you? The guy has a really hard job, so I respect him a lot, filling Jon Stewart's shoes. But then, like even Kimmel, who's not a political guy.
Yeah.
He'll go on there and just trash Trump because he's smart, he's funny. Mm-hmm. Fallon, his whole thing's like, we're gonna play celebrity tag today. So great. What do you have to say, Questlove? Questlove's just like, I'm here because I'm getting paid.
Questlove just looks at him. He's like,
Questlove, are we hanging out later? He's like, I'm not your friend. Leave us alone.
He's like, that's a hilarious joke. Anyway, do you guys like me yet?
Yeah. The other guy I don't like is James Corden.
I feel like he's got into my Jimmy Fallon slot of he seems like a nice guy. Like he's just not for me.
His thing that he's smart. He appeals to the more like Broadway sing-song.
Yeah, and also he's a singer, so he's gonna like focus on his strength. Like I have no problem with him. Also, he's been in a couple of things like acting things that I liked him in. So
what's he been?
He's been in a couple episodes of Doctor Who.
That's cool.
Yeah, like he's a decent actor. I love Into the Woods. No, I've never seen it. But
I would judge you. I have fucking look at all the Dragon Ball Z DVDs.
All I can think about is like I want to borrow Dragon Ball Z Kai from you when you're done with it. That's all I'm thinking of.
Please go ahead. I'm actually done with it. Go ahead.
All right,
that's a real moment right now. That's a real moment. I just let him borrow my DVD.
Blu-ray. We're not in high school anymore.
You look at all my personal belongings. You wouldn't be able to tell that.
What got us off on the SNL conversation?
We were talking about writers.
They expanded their writers room. They're new cast members I saw too. I'm like, I don't know, like it's a weird time for TV comedy because like you got to have something that will like more than ever, like you got to get a viral video, like the kids say.
SNL's a web show that gets broadcast on TV first, and a lot of shows are like that.
I think Conan more than a lot of the late night people have embraced that. Like, I mean, that's what that like whole carpool karaoke thing like is like tailor made for. Is like just share this moment on the internet.
Well, I've heard a thing where Conan and his production company that like works with TBS, he produces Samantha Bee's show. Mm-hmm. They're actually like working to just make Conan a web show.
Yeah, I wonder if that would like
because they're like we're always struggling with ratings, like Nielsen ratings.
Yeah,
like but our clips get downloaded like crazy. Why don't we just go to where the viewers are?
That probably would be a good idea. Like as long as they can still get everybody paid the same amount, then.
Well, and you got to think too. Like Fallon and Colbert have a following of like our parents' age, who are not going to go. Like if you tell my mom to watch a show on the computer or on the phone, she'll she'll look at you like you asked her for $1 million. Like, she'll be like, what?
You're like, but shows are for TV.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to look at something I'm holding in my hand. I'm like, well, dude, my mom, like, when she retired, she got all these checks and gift cards and stuff, like, for, like, Amazon and stuff. And she's like, I'm gonna treat myself to a retirement gift. I'm like, sounds great. She bought herself a CD player. It was in her credit, it was a nice CD player. Bose makes great products. I'm like, that's sweet, Mom. Does this have Bluetooth? And she looked at me like she's like, I didn't need Bluetooth.
She's like, it doesn't have any teeth.
Yeah. But like the look she gave me, she's like, get the fuck out of here with your Bluetooth.
Yeah, I feel like my dad would be the same way, but we got him an iPod one Christmas. And we're like, here, we're going to teach you how to use this, because he's got like 50,000 songs, and he like converted all his records to CDs, and then like we're going to teach you how to put all your CDs onto this, so you can have everything on this little iPod. And like, to his credit, he embraced it, and he listens to it every day, but it's like, you gotta kind of push them into that.
They're frightened. They're scared. And they don't want to admit it, but they're scared.
Well, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason we get it so well is because we grew up in the perfect generation to experience all levels of technology. Like, I think about it a lot. Like, I've experienced all video games. The first video game system I had was an Atari. And I've gone all the way to modern video game. Like, any kid now, you put them in front of Atari, they'll be like, what the fuck? What is this shit? Like, anyone even 10 years younger than us.
Or they'll be like, are we playing this as a joke?
Yeah.
Why?
Did you make this game?
Yeah.
Like, no, I didn't make this game. Like we've experienced everything, so, like, we're a lot quicker to pick things up. But then there's still stuff that I don't fully understand. Like, a lot of our friends use Snapchat a lot. I forget it a lot. Like, because it's designed to go away. I'll like, oh yeah, Snapchat. Like, someone will send me something, I'll be like, oh, I should reply to that, and forget about it, and be like, now I can't, because it's gone.
Yeah, I that's why I've never just, like, I'm like, Snapchat, I'm like, I could probably use it, but
it'd be good for you, I feel like, just to send your drawings. It'd be the same as, like,
it's what I do.
Texting them, but they'd go away. So.
Yeah. Like, instead of, I deleted Facebook, I still have Instagram and Twitter. Mm-hmm. I don't use the Twitter, but
I know you said the Twitter in a proper way, but it's like you said
the Twitter
again.
yeah, it did sound like that. What I do, I just have a text chain of 7 people. You're on it, and I just send pictures of stupid shit I draw. Like, that's just social media for me. I have 7 friends,
a text chain,
and me, and that's it. No, but like, my mom, she always like would knock, Facebook, whatever. Thought it was stupid. Then she retired. She wanted to keep in touch with her friends from work. She got a Facebook. Now, if I'm with her, she's looking at her phone. It's like I might be hanging out with my 15-year-old sister or my 59-year-old mother.
Either way, yeah, it's got their nose in their Facebook.
And she'll be stuff I told her for years. She's like, I gotta check the weather. Let's go on the Weather Channel. Damn it, there's a commercial. Why is there always a commercial? I'm like, Mom, just look online.
Yeah.
Just look online. She's like, I'm not going to bother with that. Now she's like, oh, like, that's all. She's like, I got weather everything on my phone. Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, now all you got to do is, like, the weather thing is built in to the homepage of your phone. Just tap it once, and it's there. There's
kind of I can't speak for all parents, but I know it's definitely the case with her. There's kind of an arrogance thing. Like, she's like, I can still take care of myself. So, like, it needs to be her idea that you look up the weather on the phone.
Yeah.
If I do it, she's going to be like,
Well, my dad still does the thing where, like, when he tells me where things in, he'll use, like, he'll say, like, it's west. I'm like, are you fucking, like, no. Just, like, give me an address. That's all I need. I got the GPS.
Can you tell north, south, east, and west from, where you are?
Well, depending on, like, from right here, no. But, like, closer to home where I knew where the lake was, obviously I could do it then.
Yeah.
But, and, like, from certain parts, like, there. But, like, now, I don't think so. Actually,
you're facing
that's east, yeah. Because that's where the 696 is, yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean, I have to really think about it. But it does me no good, like, thinking of directions that way.
In Michigan, we're super spoiled because a lot of, at least in like where we live in Metro Detroit, everything's a grid.
Yeah, all the roads.
So it makes it so easy. The roads basically run north, south, east, and west. Mm-hmm. If you live in somewhere like Virginia, where I visited this summer, it's all like a bunch of hills and rolling fields. I'd be like, ugh.
Yeah, and they gotta do roads that go around things. And
you literally
straight through.
I'd have to look at the sun like a tracker, like, which I get. And here's what that would be. It would be me looking up at the sun, praying that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, and you won't know until you're like, no, I'm definitely really lost.
Yeah, it's like, we're fucked. And I screw up. I mix up left and right all the time. I'll be navigating for someone on GPS. I'm like, yeah, turn left up here. They turn left. Oh, shit. I meant there's two options, and I screwed it up.
About a week ago, I needed to go to the ATM, and I still don't have, like, know where a bank is around here that I go to, like, because I have... Like, there's a bank that I use right in my work normally, so I'll normally go to that, but I was home, so I was like, okay, I need to find this bank, so I put it in my GPS, and I find it, and then I go to leave the parking lot, and I thought I left the same way I went, but I didn't. I thought I was driving down John R., and I didn't realize till, like, way down, I'm like, I have no clue where I am, but all I had to do was open Apple Maps and, like, tap home, and, like... That's all I needed to do to find my way home. Like, when I was in high school, I don't know what I would have done. I would have to just turn right around on that road and be like, hope I can find that bank and know
It'd be really interesting if for some reason, like the map things, just all the satellites that see the maps just quit, and we all had to figure it out.
North Korea nukes all our satellites.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, there's an interesting idea for a show going on. I bet the show won't be executed well, but I think it's called like 90s House, where they put a bunch of kids now with only 90s technology. Like that whole concept is really interesting, because you see all those videos online and like kids react to cassette tapes or whatever, and they're like, I'm tapping it and nothing's happening.
Oh, that shit's scripted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, okay.
But like, I did see a video, I think today, of a little girl, like maybe like 2 years old, holding a Game Boy Color, trying to tap the screen. That's legit. Like, you know that little girl doesn't know what buttons are. It's all touch screens.
Like, forget being born into a world where smartphones and tablets exist. Like, that's crazy enough. You and I are at the age where we weren't born into houses where you had the internet. Like, I remember it was a big thing, right? When you were young, you were a kid or an early teen, but you were like, oh, we got a computer with the internet.
I had to use dial-up to look at my first porn.
Wow.
Yeah. I really did. And I got internet a little late, too. Later than a lot of people I knew.
Yeah. It's, like, that's going to be our version of we had to walk to school in 30 feet of snow.
Yeah, we had to find porn on the playground.
I'm like, you don't understand. You couldn't use the landline and use the internet at the same time.
Do you remember how big of a deal AIM was?
Yeah. Which it was just before. It was convenient back in the day when texting cost like a dime a text or something.
Yeah. Well, even before that, like, we were on the cusp of, like, being able to have cell phones.
Yeah.
Like not every kid had a cell phone back. God, we sound so fucking old.
Yeah. Well, things change rapidly because we're not that old. You're 29, I'm 28.
Yeah, I was only allowed to have a cell phone like when we went to fucking band competitions, just in case an emergency happened.
Yeah. I got a cell phone when I started driving. They're like, you call this if you need to be like picked up or if you need to call the police.
Only that, because it costs.
Yeah.
We paid for those minutes.
They're like, we got the most base plan. They're like, if you can just walk to the hospital, do that. Yeah, we sound old. But then, like, I feel technology changes so rapidly. Like, kids now, the slightly younger kids are going to be like, what? You don't have a chip in your head that makes you able to find information on the blink of an eye? Like, or it'll be like some crazy, you don't have laser fingernails? What's the deal with you?
Yeah, it's just there's too much technology now. that I'm glad I don't have that urge anymore to like keep up that I used to.
No.
Like I like VR is now the big thing in gaming. That's so expensive. Like you need to get like the most accessible one, like other than like the one you put your phone into, is like they have one for PS4, but you have to buy like a $400 PS4, and then like it's an extra at least $400 for the VR headset.
And like I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure it's way better than my expectations are, but I feel like VR right now, we're not getting the best of it. It's like I want VR. Like if I'm doing VR, I don't want to be touching buttons. I want my hand to be the character's hand.
Yeah, they have like controllers that you can do that, but you're still like pinching things to make the hands close.
I feel they're working their way towards that.
Eventually, yeah. You want full immersive VR where you like when you run, the character runs and. But
then like that's a dangerous, because then they're just gonna make it like you could just live here.
Yeah.
It's going to be Matrix.
Matrix, yeah. Yes. Or Wall-E chairs.
Yeah. It'll probably be a lot more like Wall-E. Yeah. I mean, we've already kind of got... I was at Walmart working, and there's this woman on the scooter. She was morbidly obese.
She was John Ratzenberger from Wall-E.
No, I wish. She, like, morbidly obese. To where there might have been something wrong with her legs. Like, sometimes people get those... giant legs, like they have bad circulation.
Yeah.
But she was wearing like short shorts, and I'm like, fuck, man, I want to live a day in your life where you don't give a shit about what. Like,
yeah.
It was
honestly, yeah.
If you're not allowed to walk around in your underwear at Walmart, she shouldn't have been, because this was the same as underwear.
That's an enviable level of self-confidence.
You don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Like I thought it was beautiful. I snapped a pic. No, there are those people though. I want to snap. I wish our friend Ricky's really good at taking pictures with the phone without him knowing.
It's scary because he does it to us.
Yeah. Like here's the thing. Like if I was trying to take a picture of you,
yeah.
I know I'm doing a visual thing on the podcast. I apologize, but picture me holding my phone, not as if I was actually texting, but just holding it with the camera pointed towards Andy, so you could take a picture by pressing the up volume button. But here's me. You have to have a poker face, like you have to be Ricky.
Yeah.
I automatically look suspicious, and then I'm in my head about looking suspicious. Then I look at the screen. Now it's just I'm obviously taking a picture of you.
Yeah, you gotta... There's a technique. I've done it... I don't do it to people a lot, but I did do it to... There was a person dressed like an M&M recently that I was I gotta get a picture of this.
That was hilarious.
And like, yeah, you gotta just walk, like, a visual thing, but you gotta keep your hand, like, hanging down at your side, and then just take it like that. And, like, you gotta... The trick is to be looking somewhere else, and then, like, hope for the best. A lot of times it does not come out, but yeah, like...
There you go. You got one of me.
I got... This is my wallpaper now. No, like you...
I'm flattered?
You gotta take, there's a technique to, yeah. But, I mean, then they have shit like the glasses that take pictures, and the watches, like the Apple Watches take pictures and shit, too, so... There's not even a...
Like, it's basically for...
Like, taking secret pictures with your phone is what losers do.
It's basically like, it's one of those things like, yeah, think of all the practical... It's for perverts.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the VR. Like, VR got really big when they started making VR porn videos. Which are stupid, by the way.
I'm sure they're great.
I've looked them up once. And
No, like, I bet you if you put those glasses on, I bet they're great.
Oh, I've done it with... I have VR glasses.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I bought them because I'm like, I need to check out this porn.
Okay, so...
And I did it, and first of all, it's a pain. Android doesn't have a lot of good VR players, and of course, porn, they use the... Whatever. And it's like... It's supposed to be like, oh, wow, you can look around the room, but it's weird. It's almost creepy. Like, it doesn't... You feel really uneasy.
There should be a level of removal in porn. Like... that's taking it to a level that I don't think...
It's Uncanny Valley. Yeah. You're like, I'm looking around, but it's not like I'm there.
Yeah.
It's... and also, like, to call porn artistic, especially like the porn nowadays, is not. It's not. But there's something to be said about the way it gets photographed or the way it gets blocked. That's like meant for your pleasure. So I'm like, it's defeating the purpose, at least for me, to be able to look around and like, you look down, she's sucking, but it doesn't. The other thing too is you look down, the woman's blowing you, but it's not your penis, and like that threw me off. I'm like that. It like you know that's not your penis.
I mean,
it's either like it's obviously like for a porn it's too big. It's a dude with an animal cock.
Yeah.
And then it's just like. Yeah, like that to me. And granted, I'm talking about. I know. Sorry, I'm making you uncomfortable.
No, you're not.
Very specific things for me. Maybe VR porn works great. It's like I'm not into bondage either. Maybe it's just a thing I'm not into.
You know, it's a thing you never know till you try. Though, yeah, I feel like you gotta try it before you can say no. So I mean, you did try it, so you know. You do know now that you're not.
I remember when I found out I could do that. I drove to Meijer. Meijer had 0 VR headsets, so I drove to Kroger 15 minutes, or not Kroger, Target 15 minutes before they closed, and bought one.
You're like, where are the porn glasses? They're like, I'm sorry. You're like, I mean the VR glasses.
You know, that's. I remember, and immediately I looked at it. I'm like, what a waste of my time. Whatever. It's like you said. Now I know what I don't like. It's like Thomas Edison said. It's
like Thomas Edison said. Maybe VR porn's good? Yeah. I don't know.
He's like, this light bulb will someday be used to lit the screen of a magic square that plays pornography. But in a way that it looks like you're there in the porn. And they're just like, put him away. He's nuts.
They're like, goodbye, Grandpa.
Like, yeah.
It would say him on his deathbed.
Everything went downhill after the light bulb. I love, too, it's kind of becoming more public knowledge that Edison was a prick.
Yeah.
Which, like, he shouldn't be singled out. Most everybody in history was an awful prick.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin, prick.
Crazy, addicted to prostitutes.
I like there's been just a public backlash to Columbus.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Most people hate Columbus now, except for the most alt-righty of alt-rights.
Yeah, and it's kind of also along the same line of the Confederate generals, which no one really attacks them personally, but it's like, I guess that's more what they stood for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's big one with Walt Disney. Like, you see, like, the new Pixar Disney movie, it's like Day of the Dead skeletons, very Mexico-centric. Looks cool, I'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
But then they, like, you could tell what they're pushing. It's like, they always push a very pro-gay, pro-people of color. Like, the princesses now, they try to do, like, change it up, not just have white princesses.
Yeah, Moana was a big deal for that.
And some of us, like, it's like, they're like, man, they're really trying to push that left. I'm like, they're probably trying to undo some of the bad willpower that Walt put into that movie.
Have 1 billion more of these to make before they make up for, or come close to making up for Song of the South.
Yeah, exactly. They bring all the writers in, and artists, and they're like, okay, here's where we're coming from, and they just show them Zippity Doodah, or the crows and Dumbo. A lot of shit, man. Walt was a nasty. And it's like,
there's even going up to, like, Aladdin, there was some stuff. Like, Robin Williams singing in a stereotypical Middle Eastern voice at the beginning of the...
Some of those Middle Eastern... Especially now that there's so much Islamophobia.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, even now, they're doing that live-action Aladdin, and, they're like, oh, we just hired this actor to play a new character, not in the original movie. And it's like, yeah, it's a white guy, because they wanted a white guy in Aladdin, because there were no white people in Aladdin.
Yeah. Who's the white guy?
I don't know. I have no idea. Just some white guy. He's like, what am I doing here?
He'll probably be like a villain. He'll probably be like the Texas billionaire who comes in, who's trying to make deals with Jafar to get the oil.
I don't know who they have playing Iago, but they really should consider just having Gilbert Gottfried do it again.
how are you going to do anything other than Gilbert?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because they have, and I think this is great casting, they have Billy Eichner playing Timon in the Lion King one. And that's, like, I'm excited about, like...
I love Billy Eichner.
Billy Eichner's great.
And I think, too, who's going to play that genie?
Will Smith is playing the genie.
That's going to... Although, you know what, though?
Like, if you're going to do anything, like, go as opposite of Robin Williams as you possibly can.
To me, though, I'm not a big Will Smith fan, really, at all.
Yeah.
But if you're like, no one can replace Robin Williams' shoes, at least let's do a stunt casting like this where people go... Because even if Robin Williams hadn't played the genie before, or if he was like still alive or whatever, you'd still be like, Will Smith, oh my god, like that's just a weird casting. Yeah.
Like they didn't even try to replace him. They're like, just Will Smith.
You could see him coming out of that bottle going, woo! Woo! He's going to do something completely different. That actually is smart. Yeah. Because I'll tell you that live action Beauty and the Beast, it was just
Beauty and the Beast, right?
And then they made the best part was the only part you heard about, which is Josh Gad LeFou was more openly gay,
even though he was clearly gay in the original.
Yeah, like that subtext was still there. Yeah. Like that, and that was the best part because it was the only part they changed.
Yeah.
The rest of it was the same old shit.
That, and then they also made Mrs. Potts Cockney, right?
Oh, yeah, that pissed me off. Oh, just sound more like modern British people.
Oi, bruv!
Like, I'm nostalgic for the days where British people automatically you could just
they
sound
they
always
classy,
sounded smarter. Like you watch, I was still, isn't it?
You want more Hugh Grant and less Jason Statham.
Yeah. You want more.
Although, man, I can't knock Statham.
But that's the thing.
I can't stay mad at Statham.
But then there's like you get the ones that like you get a Capaldi in there or something.
Yeah.
He's Scottish, I know that. But
yeah.
Just the more gruff ones, because I always felt like in America we had these impression of like the aristocratic English, because that's what traveled over to us.
His version though is like he's the he can be vulgar but still classy in a way. Yeah. Like he can say like horrible shit, but you're like it's still like he's got some class.
Like, I picture your average Londonite just sounding like a random orc in Return of the King. Just like, you're going to the Dog Lord with us.
Looks like meat's back on the menu.
We're looking for a couple of halflings. No, sir.
No, sir.
We don't have any of those here. Sorry.
Sir, we call them little people, and that's very offensive.
It's like, what?
Where's the fellowship on the right?
I'm gonna go hang out with some ring wraiths. Orc things.
Yeah.
Or then like,
Oi, I know you. I killed you.
That's
from Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, I was about to say the orcs didn't have a lot of personality until Shadow of Mordor, when they'd come out, and I love that game.
Yeah.
Because and then they have the orcs. They're like the Seven Dwarfs, but time 1,000. They have like Ugluk the Scared, and he goes, "Oh, I'm out of here," and you have to chase him.
Who's that? I'm scared.
And then you have like Rathbar the Brain Damaged, and he has like a scar on his head. And he just goes, he just jitters. I'm like,
really?
Wow. Yeah, they have the more you play, especially they have the trials, which are basically you run around Mordor and it's more or less unlimited. They change it up. They go like, Bartok the Sick, and he's like got the green shit coming off of him and flies, and he's like I'm not feeling so good. Like they have every personality trait that the writers could think of.
So they are like the Seven Dwarfs.
Or they have like so and so the romantic, and he goes to you and he recites poetry about how he's gonna kill you.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I've played that game a bit, not enough clearly, and they're coming out with the sequel soon that you make friends with them. Like, more so than the first one.
That. Yeah. You command an army.
Yeah. And they're like, it's like a buddy cop. Like you see the trailers, there's like this one, like, orc they keep showing in the trailers that's like, he's like your buddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome.
I can't wait for that. No, and like they've really expanded Mordor. It was only 2 maps in the first game, which kind of sucks.
Well, now like the systems can have like maps that are so fun. Like my you played The Witcher, right?
Yeah, like
see
Witcher.
My brother play it. Like that game is huge.
It's like GTA 5. GTA 5 broke that open, and Red Dead kind of too. Like GTA 5 was the one of the biggest maps for and I forgot how many. But then The Witcher is that times 3.
Jeez.
And then you can download a thing which makes it that times 4.
My God.
And you gotta
That's
think,
too much.
in Witcher, you can't get a car.
Yeah, you gotta run or ride a horse.
Or your horse, or yeah.
Yeah, that's
or
the way...
you can warp.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know how big Breath of the Wild is compared to those, but like that is like...
Yeah.
You get tired running through that map.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is holding forward on a thumbstick.
I know, you think of like, oh, I have to go walk there to like how you would in real life. You're like, fuck, I gotta walk 3 miles up the block.
Some of the best like exercise tips I've heard is like, if you're gonna play video games, like just go on a treadmill and play the whole time. It's like, gee, like anytime your character's moving, you should be running on the treadmill. I'd be like, I'd die.
Yeah.
Like that's like 12 marathons.
It would really break open the things that are not realistic, like the conventions we like in video, you carry 1 million guns.
Yeah.
You can get stabbed and still walk if you have a health bar.
Or like you eat a turkey and it refills your health bar.
Yeah.
There's actually a series Rooster Teeth did called Immersion where they do stuff like that. Like they did, like the first one they did was like the third person car camera, where like they put, instead of a windshield, they just put a screen and they had a camera behind the car, so all the person could see is behind the car view while they were driving the actual car, and it's like so disorienting.
Yeah. That would drive me nuts. Especially a game like GTA, because there's certain elements where it strives to be very realistic.
Yeah.
And then other ones where you're like, yeah, a car wouldn't survive this brutality I'm giving it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't blow up the second you flip it over, so it gives and it takes.
And just like the amount of, in GTA, the amount of horrible things you do, like the cops just come, they're like, get that guy. I'm like, they in real police, they would destroy you in a second.
Oh yeah.
Like if you had a gun and you were on the roof, they'd just be like,
you would be dead already.
Kill him, get him. Like we got it because.
But then the most enviable thing about the whole game is you just don't have to follow traffic laws, and they do nothing about it.
You could drive on the wrong side of the road. You can, as long as you don't hit a police
human,
car or a human.
Yeah. You can run into as many cars as you want, as long as it's not a police car.
Which would be nice. I hate getting pulled over, because I always get pulled over for stupid stuff. It's not like if I was speeding and like I got pulled over for speeding, it's like I guess I was doing the wrong thing.
You're like, technically it's against the law.
I've been pulled over for driving too slow. And the reason I was driving the speed limit, but it was in the passing lane at I-94. And
that's a pull-overable offense?
I didn't get a ticket. I got a warning, but still. The only reason I was driving the exact speed limit, 75...
Because you saw a cop?
Because there was a trooper on my tail.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't want to tell him that, because you know how cops get.
You're like, oh, so you only obey the law when you see police officers.
The guy was going to let me, because he's like, this is a passing lane. You can't go this slow. And I just want to say, dude, I would have been going 90 if you weren't here. Like, I would have been cruising. And I got pulled over. Here's my ticket. Because I know you don't believe me unless you see a ticket.
Yeah, you know me.
It's nonsense.
What is it?
Driving without the registration.
But what did you get pulled over for?
Driving without a registration. So I'm like, the cop was behind me.
Oh,
in a turn lane.
They saw the sticker?
He saw the sticker. I'm like, do you look at every single car? Maybe he does.
Yeah, I'm sure that was his day. And he's like, I got nothing else going on. Gonna look at stickers.
I mean, it's just like, dude, you could... he pulled me over and, he wrote me a ticket, whatever. I guess I was in the wrong, but it's like, yeah, I was hurting a lot of people.
Yeah.
And also, I'm like, you're lucky I'm like, you couldn't be a cop. It was in Troy.
Uh-huh.
Like, you couldn't be a cop in not St. Clair, it was Detroit. You just wouldn't have time. Like, you'd have to deal with actual crime.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's why he was doing that, because he had a free day. So he could... I mean, I'm just guessing. Maybe.
In his defense, he seemed like a little... pissed off that he had to even Not pissed at me, pissed. He's like, great. When I signed up to serve and protect, I know it'd be.
I wanted to spend all day looking at stickers.
Yeah, losers and whatever. Let's do Ultimate Fan Battles. Ultimate Fan Battles.
I don't think we announced what this one was going to be. So people have been on pins and needles for however long since the last episode. And it's going to be a weird one, and half the people, possibly all the people listening, won't know what we're talking about.
Sorry, guys.
This one's, like many things, just for us.
Well, anyway, in the last episode, we did Michael Keaton versus Keaton. Twitch. Before we were recording, I said I remember nothing from that episode, so it'll be fun going back and listening.
Yeah.
You can only fit so much Dragon Ball Z info in your mind, and
before
there's
it
not
pushes
enough room
everything out
for actual experiences you've had. But I will see right there. This week, Walt Flanagan versus Christoph Waltz.
This Dragon Ball Z stuff, not a joke, by the way. I've been staring at an entire, almost full DVD shelf full of Dragon Ball Z. That shelf is dedicated to Dragon Ball Z and King of the Hill, almost exclusively.
I have every episode of King of the Hill here.
I didn't realize there were that many seasons of King of the Hill.
Yeah, it went on. It was one of those ones, 12 seasons, right? Yeah. For something you never see in syndication, like Adult Swim plays it, but you think an episode with that many, or a show with that many episodes...
Yeah, that has to be well over 100 episodes, right? Because it started back when all TV shows were like 24 episodes.
The thing is, though, you know what killed that, I think, is Family Guy and American Dad, and like those channels play that all the time because it's more like everybody can get on. King of the Hill is really niche.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people...
Like, to me, it's more like Futurama, where it's very specific humor.
King of the Hill I always skipped all the time, too, when I was a kid, because it clearly wasn't for me. I feel like I'd appreciate it more now.
It's not laugh-out-loud humor, which is... When I was a kid, that's what I wanted. I was watching Futurama, Simpsons, Family Guy, you know? And then King of the Hill, it's more of a... I don't even know how to describe it. It's like... It's very character-heavy. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like Futurama in that, where you're like, this is funny because that specific character is doing it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give you the... It's Mike Judge, you know? It's not unlike Silicon Valley.
Yeah, where Silicon Valley, Silicon Valley is hilarious, but there is a bunch of stuff where it's not laugh-out-loud funny.
Yeah. So, fan battles. We're doing Christoph Waltz versus Walt Flanagan. Now, everyone knows who Christoph Waltz is. He's the villain guy from Spectre and Inglourious Bastards and so on and so forth.
And the good guy from Carnage.
And
actually, he was, I guess, a villain in that too. He was from the Bad Family.
And then
he definitely didn't have a good American accent in it.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be just probably happy someone saw Carnage.
Yeah, I did.
And man, my memory.
Walt Flanagan. Of Tell 'em Steve Dave, the podcast fame, of Comic Book Men fame, of Kevin Smith movie fame.
Yeah, being Fanboy was the name of his character, who would say, "Tell 'em Steve Dave."
Oh yeah, that's right. He wasn't even Steve Dave. He's the one who said, "Tell 'em Steve Dave."
Steve Dave was Brian Johnson, but so like Andy and I really like this podcast called "Tell 'em Steve Dave." We made it podcast of the week a bunch of times. It's a great podcast. So we're going to be referencing really specific stuff in that. He is on Comic Book Men, but that's not really where, like...
Yeah, that's like if you want, like, the most watered-down version
Say, like, you might say, like, oh, I've seen Comic Book Men a bunch of times. It's on after The Walking Dead AMC. That's great, but we're not talking about that wall. Probably.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I've barely ever seen Comic Book Men, so I'm not going to be.
Now I'm forming the beginning of it in my head. I'm kind of thinking Comic Book Men, but with a Walt from TSD.
Well, I mean, yeah. The ideal Comic Book Men would be those people, but unfiltered in any way.
Yeah, I guess we'll get into the fan battle. Okay, so have you seen Comic Book Men ever?
Yeah, I've seen a handful of episodes. It's Pawn Stars, but
yeah, exactly.
But with comic books. And then them just dicking around.
Yeah. People are coming in all day, trying to sell Walt stuff, bidding with them. You know how that goes.
They're about to close, but then there's one last person who's like, could you please hold the door For me.
Welcome. Walt.
So he's like, one more. See, Walt's like, I want to go home. Like, I hate filming this TV show. My life is so hard. I'm on TV.
I want to go to Denny's. So he, and Ming's like, I'll do it. No, Ming, you won't do it. Thoughts. So Walt, he's like, one more. Lock the door, Ming. We need to get this guy in and out quick. Whatever he says, they'll probably just buy it from him. So he's like, I have an authentic costume from the film Inglourious Bastards. I'm doing Dr. Evil. Whatever. Christoph Waltz, he's actually not. He's very enthusiastic. He's like, I have a wonderful costume.
Our impression of him was him in Skyfall, which is him not enthusiastic.
Yeah, I was doing Dr. Evil. You were doing Jewel, not Jewel. Maybe no. That one character from Comedy Bang Bang. Whatever, I can't pull the name, so forget about it.
I actually don't know what character you're talking about.
Matt Besser does it.
Bjork. It's a real person.
No, I got it mixed up with Jewel, the singer.
Yeah.
But he does his Bjork character.
Yeah.
You're doing Bjork, I'm doing Dr. Evil.
I mean, essentially, he is if Dr. Evil and Bjork had a child, it would be Christoph Waltz.
It's that, but yeah, talking as if he's like, this is a normal voice.
Hello, I am very excited to meet you.
Yeah. So anyway, Walt's he's like, I have this authentic costume from the movie Inglourious Bastards for you.
Still doing it.
I know, I don't know how to do it anymore.
We did it. There was an episode where we did it for 25 solid minutes. I feel like it was after we saw Spectre.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Oh yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is that's why we do that way, because that was boring Christoph Waltz in that movie. They took everything fun about Christoph Waltz. They're like, don't do that. Just be evil. He's like, okay, how do I be evil? It's like, don't be happy. He's like, oh, I've got it.
I am happy.
I am always happy.
So anyway.
And he's like, movie memorabilia. I mean, I guess we could check it out, but I don't know. I mean,
we're more of a comic book collectibles.
Yeah, I mean, is it?
Oh, you will like what I have. So he pulls out, basically his whole costume. He's got costume.
Yeah, the hat, the armband.
He's got the costume from Django Unchained. He's got. I was the villain in Legend of Tarzan.
Was he?
Yeah, I have that costume as well. I have my costume from the film Carnage, directed by. He's like, listen, Mr. Walt. Walt doesn't know a reference from pre. He only knows references from pre-1985. So he's like, listen, I'm sure these.
He's like, the only movie that ever existed with Nazis in it is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
He's like, I'm sure you were great as the extra in Raiders and whatever else this was, but we just don't get a lot of people coming in asking for weird Nazi costumes.
And he's like, and honestly, I want to close the store and I want to go home and go to Denny's. But
yeah.
you just talk way too slow, and we're not gonna get this done. And he's like, perhaps you know me from another thing. I am a very famous author. I'm the author of all your pain.
Of all your pain. He's like, okay, you know what? Take it outside. You're getting a little rowdy with me. So then, he has to gather up all his costumes, goes inside. Obviously,
Sunday Jeff muscles him out the door.
Yeah, he's like, Jeff. Jeff's Jewish too. He's like, get that Nazi costume out of here.
He's like, it's bad enough these guys are always talking about Nazis. They won't shut up about Hitler.
Oh, and then, so then, obviously this has established a conflict between, when Christoph Waltz is like, you will find that no one says no to me, Christoph Waltz. And Walt Flanagan's like, I don't care. And then so, then he goes on, he's waiting around outside, and Mike and Ming come in to record I Sell Comics. This is when we've done Ultimate Fan Battle with him before.
Oh yeah, he's a UFB all-star.
He's a vet.
He's the only contestant in Ultimate Fan Battle's history who has acknowledged that he was in it
Yeah.
and talked about it
That's
to us.
kind of legendary.
We didn't get that from Stone Cold.
No.
What if
Bullet Bill?
What if Stone Cold's like, whoa, this is crazy.
I hate fucking Stone Cold or Cold Stone.
He's like, no, I hate Stone Cold. I have deep-seated issues with myself.
I'm going through some shit, guys. Probably not far from the truth, I'm sure. But so when
no, I'm sure he's doing.
Ming and Mike come in and he sees them like hauling the recording equipment in. And he's like, I'm a famous Hollywood actor. Would you mind letting me be on your podcast? And Ming's like, you're a person standing on the street. I was going to ask you anyway.
Yeah, before he even finishes the sentence. Yes.
Yes.
Someone wants to be on my podcast. Of course.
So he sets up all the shit. Gets it. He's like, welcome to ISO Comics. Walt comes up. He's like moving some long boxes. He's like, dude, I told you to get out. Now get out of here.
He's like, but I am a guest on this podcast.
He's like, I'm hanging with my friends Mike and Ming. He's like, no, I didn't like the way you talked to me. You had an attitude. You wasted my time. You're out of my store.
I thought you wanted to go to, what was it you called it? Denny's?
He's like, I burned down the Denny's.
He's like, but first, I bought all of the Denny's with my Hollywood money. That's right.
Rich.
It is me. It is me, Walt, the owner of all your Denny's.
The owner of all. So he's like, oh, actually. So some time passed between when Walt Flanagan kicked Christoph Waltz. He went back to his headquarters, which is like that Spectre room.
The room in the crater in the desert.
We need to buy all the Denny's. No, I'm thinking the boardroom.
Oh, yeah. With Batista?
Yeah.
Batista's there.
He's like, how do we hit him where he hurts the most? Denny's.
He's like, isn't that right, Batista? He's like, yeah, I don't know why I'm here. We filmed this movie years ago.
Dude, he's like, I'm just waiting for my check, dude. Because you're paying me to be here.
He's like, I'm supposed to be on Avengers Infinity War 3 days ago.
Yeah.
You won't let me leave. Weirdly, I could break you in half like a twig.
I have green paint in my ears still. You haven't let me shower. So he's bought all the Denny's, and now he's coming back to gloat at Walt. And Walt's pissed. He drops the long box of comics, obviously.
Obviously.
And he's like, you made your move, I'll make mine. This is Walt Flanagan. He can be determined. So then he goes into the basement of the stash. Gets that Baron costume out.
I thought... And then while he's down there, he's like, time to get my real secret weapon. He's like, the Baron has a weapon of his own. Unlocks a cell door. Here comes Get 'em.
Get 'em, yeah. And so Get 'em and Jeff got to be his like thugs. Got to be his Bebop and Rocksteady.
His whatever Batista's name was from...
His Mr.
Hinks.
Hinks, yeah. His Winton kid. So he's like, you get him. And Get 'em's still in that like crappy tuxedo he wore for the wedding.
No, he didn't put the teeth back in.
Oh, God. What a piece of shit. I like him.
Nah, Get 'em's great. Did you listen to the episode where Walt just screamed at him yet?
That was like threw a mic at him or something.
He went full Pardo on him.
In his defense, Get 'em was being
a little dickhead.
Kind of a little dickhead.
It's just the only time Walt's ever noticed.
Yeah, it's just funny they were just released. Of course, tell Steve Dave released that, isn't it? They like didn't edit around it or something, or just say we're not going to release this one.
Anyway,
so he gets Get 'em, and he's got the full Baron, which I picture as like a cape and a domino mask, I think they're called, and then a top hat.
I never thought of the domino mask, but yeah, that's great. I think fake mustache too. I'm thinking like weirdly, it's pretty similar to the Andrew Lloyd Webber costume that Paul F. Tompkins wears. I feel like just all black instead of like a multicolored like a.
Like I think very Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah,
so
that
works. That works. So he's like the Baron. So he's like some weird shit. like, you know, he's trying to find portals in a Walmart, or
he's gonna tap into the supernatural powers of the world to fight Christoph Waltz. He's like, there's nothing else I can do. Being mean to him didn't work. He's too positive and happy.
So, Christoph Waltz is actually getting along fine with Mike and Ming.
They're still recording. This is days later. Still recording their podcast.
Yeah. It's lasted that long.
So welcome to part 7 of our interview with Christoph Waltz. He won't leave. This is great.
He's like, why are you putting me through this, Walt? Come back. So,
he's like, this is the move that defeated Ming Na Wen.
Oh, that's right. That's right, yeah. He's like, I'm dying in the wrong fan battle. I love they're aware they're in fan battles.
He's like, I am here next to the withered corpse of Ming Na Wen.
I love like occasionally the characters like breaking and realize they're like, where am I? Why am I doing whatever these two men tell me to do?
Oh God, why?
Why do I have access to and am trying to sell my Inglourious Basterds Nazi costume? So Walt and get him Christoph Waltz is waiting for Walt Flanagan to come out of that basement. Walt Flanagan's like, he's clever. He and Get him escaped out of a fire escape, and they went and they let Get him, like, Walt just basically released Get him on the Spectre headquarters. Like, and this is the one in the desert that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Like the really clean, nice one, and Get him just Get-em'd it up. He just let him live there.
Just loose bottles everywhere.
Loose bottles.
He's drinking a gallon of Coors or whatever every day.
His blisters would just pop all over the place. You know, he had that like weird cyst. His cyst is getting on things. He's petting the cat with the cyst.
He's just a disgusting human.
Yeah, he left his teeth everywhere. And so finally, like, Christoph Waltz killed Mike and Ming. Because that was the only way to stop that podcast from happening. He's
like, I'm getting tired of podcasting.
Just like to the head, execution style.
He does that he does that to Mike, but Ming, he chokes like what's her name? Von Hammersmark from Inglourious Basterds.
That was fucked up.
But first he puts a shoe on him.
God, and Ming's smiling the entire time through.
He's like, thanks, I'm really honored to be choked to death by you. This is great. He's just so nice and friendly. By the way, Ming also the only ultimate member of or contestant in Ultimate Fan Battles who we have physically met.
Yeah, I've met him. We've photographed ourselves with him. I have a shirt with his face on it. Like, he's taking a lot of hits for someone I seem to be obsessed with. So anyway, where were we? Okay, so Get him fucked up that base, and Waltz just goes, "I'm going home, where I'm going to run my Denny's franchises. I'll work on this. I'll sell my," and so he's livid. Like, first of all, he's kind of like a cool villain, always one step ahead of the hero. Yeah. And
he had no idea what to expect walking into.
The Baron fooled him.
He's like, I just wanted to make a quick buck because I'm between Bond movies.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'm going to be in number 26.
No, they arrested me. They did not kill me, but who knows what they'll do.
He's like, I feel like a lot of people think that Spectre was a misstep, so they may be going in a different direction.
Or they could do what they did to Donald Pleasance and just say he had plastic surgery.
Which I feel would be a mistake, but he's just talking to the corpses of Mike and Ming. He's like, anyway, this has been I Sell Comics. I should probably sign off.
Wow, this is like the Louis episode of Marin. Things got real. Thanks, guys. Oh, that's right. I killed you both. Well, I'll be going now. And so he does, however... Christoph Waltz, I imagine his methods of transportation are neither quick nor appropriate. Like, he drives like a Model T or something.
He takes a whatever those things are in like China, the pedicabs. Rickshaw, yeah, that's it.
Rickshaw, or that it's something like really low tech like that, or it's a Zeppelin. I don't know.
He takes a rickshaw pulled by Batista to his Zeppelin.
I don't work for you. He's like, no talking.
He's like,
I will continue to pay you. You continue to pull me. He's like,
well, I mean, I guess it's.
He's like, Batista's like, damn it, I picked the wrong year to have a real doll obsession. That's not even expensive. That was a good one.
I think it's probably more expensive than.
I picked the wrong year to start collecting Beanie Babies.
I picked the wrong year to cover up a bunch of murders.
He's like, I shouldn't have bought all those beers at Comerica Park. Topical for you and me. So he goes back to he's like, oh, home sweet home. Let me just get into my nice clean house. What is going on here?
Why is this room filled to the brim with empty bottles?
You could tell I've been watching a lot of Ren and Stimpy because
it's turning into Ren. That was very
Stimpy,
Ren.
You idiot! He's like, what are all these natty ice cans? That's not the beer I drink.
He's like, clearly I drink cool, refreshing Heineken.
King! When you want a night in town. It's, what is it? Oh, God. So then he finds Get'em. Like, the plan, although effective, wasn't well thought out. Get'em's just there for Christoph Waltz, a.k.a. Spectre, to just find and torture. So he's like...
what are you doing here? He's like, oh, hey, Christoph Waltz, I got stuck on your toilet.
Yeah.
It's just something gross.
Yeah. I got stuck in your toilet. I've gone number 2 a few times. I lost count.
He's like, I thought it would have propelled me out of the toilet like Randy from South Park, but it didn't work like that.
Yeah. And let's just say I drank some eye drop solution earlier, so there's a Dumb and Dumb situation going on down there. He's like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard.
He's like, oh, you should spend more time with me. It'll get worse.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm going to make your death particularly unpleasant and painful. So he hooks him up to that little machine that Bond's hooked up to.
With the needle.
Yeah. He's like, you will pay for ruining my apartment. And I'm like, that's what you call your base? Yes. It's very cozy. So he's jamming stuff into Get'em, and it's just not really working.
Just popping boils on him.
Yeah, it's popping his boils and cysts. He's like
it's giving him cheap dental work. He's like, wow, is this what going to the dentist is like?
Get rid of my root canal? Possibly.
He's like, let me see what I can do.
So, Get'em's just taking the abuse. Christoph Waltz, like, he's getting really frustrated. Like, he had the upper hand for a second at the beginning, but he's just been getting fucked by Get'em in the Baron the entire time. So, what he doesn't know is that Walt Flanagan, Get'em was a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the plan wasn't to trash his apartment. That wouldn't be smart enough. The plan is to go turn on all of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7s that he has in a warehouse, because he tried to kill a lot of people by selling those, but the product was a huge flop because people found out they blow up.
Oh yeah, well that was clearly a Bond villain style plan.
Yeah,
that just didn't work out the way that was planned.
And obviously, because it didn't work out, the police simply just let him go on living his life. No legal repercussions. Only a few people had burnt crotches. So Walt just goes. He finds the Raiders of the Lost Ark warehouse full of these phones,
and he's like, "I knew he was from Raiders of the Lost Ark."
Yeah. Exactly. All Nazis are.
He's like, just like every time, I'm right.
So he turns on, and I'm thinking, not every phone, but he turns on like one phone, because then they could just blow up and chain react.
And which works out well, because I feel like that's all he could probably handle, figuring out how to turn on.
Yeah.
Because much like parents of this generation, he has just no clue about technology.
Yeah. So, he manages to get the one phone on. He has to have Brian Johnson call him and talk him through it, like clipping the wires on a bomb.
He's like, you just press the button.
He's like, okay, you're going to need to slow down.
He's like, there are at least 3 distinct buttons on this phone. Which one do I press? He's like, if you just press any number of them and hold them for a minimum Like, maximum 2 seconds. The phone will turn on eventually.
It turns into, like, Giddim's getting tortured, and Walt's like, you know what? It doesn't have enough of a charge. Let me go plug it in for a little bit. You could tell it's giving me a 0% battery. So he does that. Walt's walking away, Baron costume, obviously. He's like, okay. Shit. I have no way of rescuing Gidim. How do we do this? Then you know who comes in?
Who comes in?
Alicia.
His daughter?
He's like, Alicia, you figure me out. Like, you're the best daughter. She's like, whatever, Dad.
She's like, Dad, you can't figure out how to turn on this phone?
Yeah. Dad, here, give me that.
God, you're so embarrassing.
Yeah. You sound ignorant. You sound stupid when you say stuff like that. He's like, what? Turns into a MeUndies commercial. So he gets in there. Alicia kicks... She basically saves Gidim at the last minute, because he was about to die. Like, he had just drilled too many holes in his brain. He's invincible, but not that invincible.
Yeah, no one's that invincible.
And they're like... And then Sunday Jeff's got the getaway car. I love Walt's crew. And then he... the getaway car, and it's like a Saturn. Like, it's nothing in the middle of the desert. Just that.
It's sensible. It's gets good gas mileage.
Yeah. So then, obviously, the place blows up. You know, they're getting away. They're like, get him. We got to take you to the hospital. And he's like, whoa, hang on now. You know, just give me some horse pills. That'll work.
He's like, just, maybe we can talk about selling another vinyl or something to pay for my hospital bills. But until then, we'll skip the old hospital trip.
Yeah.
They're like, get him, you're a disaster of a human being.
So then they go back, you know, obviously. They're having a fun time. They're going to go record a TSD. And Walt goes back to the stash. And there's pictures hanging.
He's like, there's a
extended.
He looks. There's a picture. Brian Johnson. He's like, what is this picture? Brian Quinn. And
Ghost
he's like,
pussy. Like, who are the weird TSD people?
The
like
Maxwell.
Brian Maxwell, yeah. And he's like, they've all been working for me. I'm the author of All Your Pain. Walt Flanagan. And he's like, what did I even do to you? He's like, you did not buy my comic book paraphernalia.
He's like, it wasn't even comic book paraphernalia. It was movie paraphernalia. He's like, same difference. Am I right, bro?
And then, so what, I'm trying to incorporate the...
No, hang on. Okay, so no, it wasn't like he wasn't saying that Brian Johnson and Brian Quinn were working for him. He's like, I have your Brians.
Not Maxwell.
No. He's like, no, the important ones.
No, why would that be your first I don't know. He's got the Brian. Okay, yeah, so he kidnapped.
He's like, can you save them in time? Or will you fail like you always do? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I don't know.
He's like, I've been doing pretty well against you. Considering I'm a comic book shop owner / podcaster.
He's like, you'll find them at your favorite place, but will you make it before it's destroyed? And Walt's like, Denny's!
So he's like, there's no physical way you'll reach the Denny's. You know, there's no physical way you'll reach the Denny's in 10 minutes, which is when the bomb is supposed to... You'd have to have some kind of otherworldly force working on your side. And Walt thinks... He gives the Prussian kissing skull $1, and the Prussian kissing skull warps into Denny's.
And then I add in a thunderclap because the Baron's at work.
Yeah.
And he's in Denny's. It's for some reason a giant building that's getting ready to be destroyed.
It's the new...
He's like, this is my mega Denny's.
I tried to build it and it just didn't work out. No one wants that big of a building.
He's like, it turns out most people hate Denny's. It's a big joke.
So then Brian, Quinn, and Johnson, they're sitting there complaining. They're tied up, not in good conditions, and they're complaining about people complaining on Twitter. I don't know. Like that. It's funny that that's what they would still be the most pissed off about.
Yeah, they've been shot in their knees, but they're like, "Can you?"
It's like you can't say anything now without some fucking. And then he unties him, gets him out of there. You know, pretty cool stuff. Picture a cool.
He holds
scene.
Walt's holding them in his arms, and he jumps down to the netting at the bottom floor.
Jacked, dude. He's like, no, it was like when mothers see their kids, they can live. I had adrenaline. They're like, makes sense, dude. Still cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to end it. That's not the exact ending of Spectre.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, when Christoph Waltz was there, he had the scar on his face.
For some reason,
because he was in the explosion. Like,
oh yeah,
pretty much the same as Spectre.
But it was one of Giddim's teeth hit him in the eye. So yeah. So what happens now?
Okay. They're running through the three TSD guys. Walt and the Bryans are running through the woods, and Christoph Waltz goes, so you had a magic kissing skull. I should have known. And now he's just desperate. He has the gun. He's pointing at him. He's like, I'm just going to kill you. And blah blah blah. I'm trying to think. Okay, now
I thought you were okay. I thought you had something in mind. Now I'm not sure.
He goes, okay, no, he's got the gun. And Walt Flanagan goes, you know what? I'll buy those. I'll buy those from you. No money. Just let me do one thing. And he's like, I'm listening. Or no, he's like, I'll pay you $1,000, but also one thing. Not, he wouldn't say no money.
Oh yeah, he needs money. The whole point was to sell him.
He's like, I'll buy him. I'll pay whatever price you name. Just I have to do one thing too. He's like, whatever. He's like, put the gun down, kick it away. We don't need that. I'm agreeing to see you. And he's like, just sit down by that tree. And he's like, okay, what an odd request.
But I don't see why I wouldn't. There's clear.
He's like, but you're being reasonable. I will do as you command.
I am a man of.
He pulls out a hunting knife. He's like, Brian and Quinn hold him down.
And he carves TESD into his head.
He carves like a sweet 4-color demon logo. Oh my god. He's like, guys, this might be my best work yet. Tell him, Steve, Dave. That's how he had it. Like, tell him, Steve, Dave.
Brian Johnson's like, this might be your best work ever. And he's like, tell him, Steve, Dave. And then like freeze frame, they high five, and Christoph Waltz is like, "This is very painful. I don't know why I deserved this, but clearly you have won this ultimate fan battle."
I submit. So okay, just to recap, because Christoph Waltz tried to sell his costumes to Walt. Walt said no; he was in a bad mood. So Christoph Waltz then bought all the Denny's, and I guess with the plan of ruining them for Walt, but that didn't.
His plans outstretched his reach, or succeeded his reach, whatever the fuck that phrase is, because all you want to do is build a mega Denny's.
Yeah, and like that. That's like the B story. Like
we didn't even see that happen.
He ran that Denny's company into the ground.
So technically his plan worked, but
meanwhile he came back to gloat to Walt. By in doing so, recording an episode of I Sell Comics
that went on for days.
Walt, mad about the Denny's, conspire with Sunday Jeff and Gidim to attack Christoph Waltz's fortress, which is the Desert Palace in Spectre.
And then once Christoph Waltz was done recording I Sell Comics, days later,
killing Mike and Ming.
The only way to get out of it was to kill Mike and Ming. He then went back to his fortress, which was destroyed. In his mind, renewing the beef that he was basically over by that point.
He tortured Gidim, who was a distraction, so Walt could take the time to blow up all the Samsung Galaxy Note 7s in the warehouse of that Spectre hideout. He escaped with the help of his daughter Alicia, who beat up Christoph Waltz and got Gidim out of the chair.
Then he returned to the stash when he found out that the Bryans were kidnapped.
Yeah. Christoph Waltz recovered except for a scar over his eye from the massive explosion in his house. He comes back, and then the two Bryans were at the Mega Denny's, tied up. Walt Flanagan, physically impossible for him to get there in time, except he makes a wish from the Prussian kissing devil to get there. He does. Christoph Waltz, on his last desperate effort, points a gun at the three TSD guys and says, "This has got to be over." So Walt tricks him then by complying.
Walt, the cunning businessman that he is, realizes this was all about the costumes.
He's like, "This is what I've been training for." And those episodes of Comic Book Men. Now there's a life and death situation attached to it.
Then he carved a symbol.
He carved 4-color demons, which is like a really detailed.
It's symbol. Intricate, but he's an artist. He's a comic book artist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's got the skills.
He's like, it's like the knife is the pencil, and the lead is blood.
So yeah, you described cutting something, Walt.
I guess, long story short, if you like these references we're making, go listen to TESD.
Yeah, maybe you then come back to this, and it will make some sense to you.
It's got to be.
You only have like 5 or probably like 8 years of podcasts to catch up.
Yeah, they've been going for a long time.
Yeah,
and that's the ones you can get. There's a lot. Some of the best podcasts are the ones you got to pay for,
and some you can only get on vinyl. Or know somebody who has it on vinyl that can lend it to you.
Yeah.
Which we haven't done at all.
So anyway, normally this is where we'd say what the next episode is, but our next episode is going to be 109, or it's going to be a car cast, and then it's going to be
we got some special stuff coming in the works.
So we'll say stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Things are going to be a little different. We're ending the podcast. No,
if you could tell by the number, this is 197. We're coming up on 200, so we're going to do a special fan battle related thing for 200.
We're also coming up on 5 years.
Yeah.
October 1st will be 5 years of this, which is frankly longer than any relationship I've ever been in. The relationship with this podcast has lasted. It's stood the test of time. We'll say that. And it's only gotten more just for us and not for anyone else.
As the previous Ultimate Fan Battle proved.
Yeah.
Very specific TSD jokes.
Which honestly, if you're gonna do it, like as long as we're having fun, we don't care if you are.
But then the thing is too, that with that Walt versus Walt, I think it's good we got that off the docket, because we went through a period, like, every month I would tell you we should do Walt versus Walt Flanagan, forgetting I had suggested that idea to you.
Yeah.
You always suggest when we're drinking or something.
Yeah, honestly, the suggestion will still probably come, but, You're right. That was...
Jesus, Randy.
What were you drinking there?
I was drinking I have a glass of Jameson I was drinking.
Oh, God, that hurt me.
You said something that made me laugh. And the Jameson went up in my nose.
Yeah, I heard that. And it physically hurt because I knew it was alcohol you were drinking. I did that with coffee the other day. That sucks.
Hot coffee?
Well, it was like warm, but like the coffee is not a liquid you want shooting through your sinuses.
That actually kind of cleared things up. I might have a better speaking voice the rest. It did clean up my sinuses.
Yeah, that'll get you.
At least Jameson's a really good whiskey. I can think of worse things to deal with. And this is the special Jameson that's aged in Guinness barrels.
I hope you didn't waste any. Lick it out of your nostrils.
It went in the nose, but it came back down.
Oh, okay.
So, I have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
But in the airplane sense, where I don't do it correctly.
Yeah, you were drinking. We should clarify. You were drinking out of your nose.
Well, and then too, there's a 50% chance that if I'm drinking, it's gonna get on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on here? Because this is one of the first things you learn as a human. And do we need to go back and reteach you?
I mean, obviously.
You haven't seen it, have you?
No.
I saw it. It was good.
I want to, but yeah.
It's a big success, obviously.
You could say great success.
Good.
But could and should.
How much you want to bet they're going to start remaking Stephen King movies like crazy?
Well,
and also
like,
in adapting more stuff.
Yeah, well, like that one I feel like needed to be made just, in my opinion, mostly to shut the people up who were fucking obsessed with that miniseries that frankly wasn't good.
It was stupid.
Yeah, like Tim Curry was fine in it.
The new shows, or the movie, you got to see it whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, that'll probably be a Blu-ray.
It's a lot like Stranger Things.
Yeah,
they did it like that, like kind of a Goonies or a
Stand
By Me.
That's like a that's the way Stephen King wrote it. Like that's his like bread and butter.
Yeah,
that and Kid Orgies.
It obviously like Stranger Things was recent, so it's in your mind. But then the kid who plays Mike in Stranger Things,
yeah, he's one of the main kids. One of the kids.
All the kids are good in it.
Yeah.
But he was good. He plays a completely different character.
Well, he's Richie, right? The quote unquote funny one.
Yeah. And he was great. The clown's good. I don't know, I just thought it was a cool movie.
I'm a big fan of anything with good child acting in it.
You'll like this
because that's like so rare, especially nowadays when there's just like.
Yeah, and I think a lot of bad child acting stems from bad child writing.
Speaking of Stranger Things, we didn't talk about this. Did you see that picture of David Harbour as Hellboy?
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to get excited about that.
It looks good. It looked like Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were like bummed Ron Perlman didn't do it.
But like someone posted them side by side. Like Ron Perlman, like his Hellboy looked like kind of cartoony. David Harbour looks fucking jacked. Yeah. Like he like got
that
ripped.
Prosthetic muscle.
Yeah.
Is because they put like. Not that I'm sure he has to be in shape.
No, yeah,
but they put that because Hellboy's got to be like.
They made him like ungodly, like huge, like
he's got to be Batista
and, like,
big, and like that's just
that's not can't get that way in
unrealistic.
6 months.
Yeah, but to what I was gonna say, that technology's gotten. I mean, it's more of I'll sound like a broken record, like anybody who likes movies. Like practical effects are better than CGI because they just CGI'd muscles on them and look like shit.
It depends on how you do it because like there's rumors that what's his name, Ant-Man, they CGI'd his abs on and stuff.
Really?
Like I don't know if that's true or not.
Because Paul Rudd probably doesn't. He's like a 40-year-old guy.
Honestly though, he probably does because fucking of course Paul Rudd would also be like have a perfect body because he needs more things going for him.
Yeah.
That handsome, funny fuck.
Yeah. Who gets to be, a Marvel Avenger. No, but I'm thinking, just the way Hollywood works, they're going to just start adapting. Although, Dark Tower was a Stephen King.
Yeah, that was like trash, I guess.
But I wouldn't be surprised if you start getting like a Cujo remake. Maybe a Shining remake.
I bet you, Shining would be a tough sell. I bet you they're going to do The Stand, though.
The Stand, yeah.
Because that was only ever a TV miniseries. Yeah, like Ron Perlman's Hellboy looked plastic.
Yeah,
like it doesn't look like
now
skin.
When you look at him back to back, yeah,
yeah, like he looks like he has like an actual red skin.
It looks sweet.
Yeah,
and then didn't they show another picture or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Or like never mind.
But yeah, I'm starting to actually kind of get excited about.
I'm really excited
Hellboy.
For Guillermo del Toro's next movie, The Shape of Water.
Yeah, I hear it's great.
Which they were saying, like, some people had a theory, like, was this his Abe Sapien movie? Because it kind of looks like that.
Yeah. There's obviously similarities.
It looks sweet. And it's got Michael Shannon in it, who I love. You ever see...
Yeah. Does he play the bad guy like always? Yep. I only saw the preview once.
Bad guy.
He has to. Like, with that guy's, like... although he wasn't a bad guy in that one movie that everybody loved. Midnight Special.
Oh, yeah.
Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
I still gotta watch that. I've heard nothing but great things.
Did you see They Came Together?
Yeah.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah, her ex.
Who gets capped by a cop. I saw the movie Mother.
I think you mean Mother.
Mother! Yeah, it is.
Mother!
And I saw it.
What did you think? Because that seems to be a divisive movie.
It was pretentious. the first two acts were interesting when you were like trying to figure out what was going on. Third act, when they explain what's going on.
Oh, they actually explain it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw the explainer from like an interview from what's her face.
You could tell that they think they're leaving it up to open interpretation, but you can connect the dots, and when they reveal everything, you're like, oh, this is just Darren Aronofsky's ego trip. Yeah, like, because like she's supposed to be Mother Earth, and he's supposed to be God. Yeah. And then there's like weird shit. It does, like, just the explanation of the movie sounds like fucking... The first act is like kind of, it has a little bit of like Rosemary's Baby, a little bit of The Shining to it, which I love both those movies, so I'm like, sure, borrow from them. The third act is like, you've seen Blazing Saddles, right?
Yeah.
It's like the final fight in Blazing Saddles if it took itself really seriously. Like, you know, in Blazing Saddles when they brawl and it spills onto other movie studios?
Yeah.
It's like that if it was like, this is serious art.
Yeah, people are just getting brutally murdered. I read, because I was never going to see the movie, but I heard so much stuff about it, and like people either loved it or violently hated it with a passion. So I just read the entire plot synopsis on Wikipedia.
You're not going to see it.
Because I was curious. It sounds just nonsensical.
Like, the first two act, like, Ed Harris is in it, and I love that.
He's always great.
He's great. There's random cameos, or not even cameos.
Isn't
like
Kristen Wiig in it?
Kristen Wiig comes in the third act. Brendan Gleeson comes in, so then I was like, oh.
Isn't and the other, his son is also in it.
Yeah.
Whose name I can never say. Donald?
That's what I meant to say. Donald Gleeson.
But
I get him and his dad mixed up. He's in it.
There's two Gleasons in it, though. Maybe his brother.
Maybe.
Because my knowledge of the movie is reading a plot synopsis, but I remember...
There you go.
Yeah.
The whole movie, you're like, oh, this is going to have 4 people in the movie. And then Donald Gleason and his brother...
Like the aforementioned classic, Carnage.
Yeah. But it's exactly like you're like, it's going to be a movie, it's going to be like that, Carnage. Yeah. Or like, it's going to be like the movie Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. It's a movie and a play, but it's where this young couple comes and visits the old couple. The old couple's really disgruntled. I'm like, this is exactly, they're just borrowing from that when they were, but then it changes every 5 minutes, and you can kind of tell Darren Aronofsky had like a notebook of ideas, and he goes, how can I just get rid of all these ideas in one movie?
Just use them all.
And like it became like a big, just some guy's ego trip, which sometimes works out. It's kind of like it, but like that one, like, dude.
There's been a lot of that going on lately with well-respected directors. Like, that's kind of like what Hateful Eight was for Tarantino. Although, like, that, I liked Hateful Eight. You didn't like it as much.
No, but I respect it for what, like, I think people don't like him because people don't say, the producers don't say no to him, but I kind of like that. I'm like, let him be unhinged.
Yeah.
If the movie's bad, it's bad, as long as he got to make the movie he wanted.
Yeah, but there's certain, the directors that take themselves too seriously, that's probably a bad idea.
Kevin Smith with Tusk and Yoga Hosers. Yeah. You could point out a million things wrong with the movie, but I'm like, here's what it's the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah, what would you rather have? Clerks 3? Would you, let him do something unique at least.
Yeah, or you want another Zack and Miri or something where his heart wasn't in it.
Yeah, and he's trying to do what other people do.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my opinion. I'm like, I'd rather see a Hateful Eight and that's kind of how I feel about Mother. It's not a terrible movie. It's a movie that just didn't work. He made the movie he wanted, and it just didn't work out. Oh well, that's fine. We'll live, As opposed to movies, which movies made by committee, there's a lot we like. I'm sure the new Spider-Man was made by committee.
Every Marvel movie.
Well, it kind of works better for superhero movies.
Yeah.
But still. And then you get your George Miller Mad Max, where it was a guy's ego trip, and that worked out great.
Yeah.
So it's a playing with a fine line, obviously.
Yeah, I guess it really just depends on. I don't know. Well, I guess it's just that's art. Like some people's vision.
There you go.
Yeah, some people's vision doesn't click with everybody. I'm sure he loves it.
Well, there's a billion factors that could go wrong for a movie.
Yeah.
My thing is that Jennifer Lawrence... I don't know whether she's good or not.
I agree with that. I also... Why was it her and Javier Bardem?
Yeah, they had zero chemistry together, but that was almost the point.
Was it? Okay.
Of, like, their relationship was bad. But, like, I guess it was kind of bad casting or bad chemistry.
Yeah, he's, like, what, 50 years older than her?
I think that was a conscious decision, but you're supposed to, like, the whole movie, you're supposed to be, like, he started, because he's, like, a poet or a writer or something. He started, she was his muse, he loved her so much, but you never get that. But that might be the point. I mean, I think it's... I don't know.
Or are you just searching for meaning where there is none because it's a movie that makes you think you should search for meaning for everything?
Yeah, and I kind of think it didn't know which way to go, and that's why, like, I heard an interview with Darren Aronofsky, and he goes... Like, that was what he settled on, and I think, like, when you went out to make this, you wanted it to have meaning, and you looked and you're like, there's a lot going on in the pot here.
I'll just say...
We're going to push towards ambiguity, and that way we could say, well, it's whatever meaning you want to put on it, which, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes that's just a cop-out.
Whatever, I know I couldn't make as good of movies as him, blah, blah.
What else has he done?
Black Swan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Requiem for a Dream. He did Noah a couple of years ago, which was a Noah's Ark movie, but he added fantasy elements into it, like rock monsters.
It was based off a comic, right? Am I remembering that right?
I'm not sure, but like, considering what was in it, that could very much be possible.
Like, I think there might have been like a graphic novel version of the Noah story that...
Yeah, this had like monsters and the angels were like super beings. And, like, I remember my mom went and saw it with a church group thinking, Noah's Ark movie? Sign me up. And then she came back going like, it's like something you would have liked. And I'm like, okay. Like, it was like, she's like, it's like if the Hobbit director made Noah's Ark.
They made this true story about how the world flooded and this man collected all the animals. They made it seem like a fantasy.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, well, Mom. Well, yeah, I know.
Honestly, I'd be up for it if they made all the God stories fun like that.
That'd be, if they just started making them super, like
they did the Willem Dafoe Jesus movie, didn't Scorsese?
Last Temptation, where it was that's kind of like was the start of it, and then you have like movies where it's like The Passion, where they really try to set it in a historical, like they had them speaking Aramaic, and to me I'm like, everything should be Last Temptation, Life of Brian, Darren Aronofsky's Noah, give God superpower. I want to see a movie about the God creating everything. Just like, how would they present that? God could be played by Josh Gad.
You know what?
We'll call him Josh God from now on.
Gad versus God? That's one we haven't... There's been a tentative one that we thought about putting God in that we never were able to do it. Like, we kept going Star-Lord versus the Lord, but we never thought of Gad versus God. Look forward to that one eventually. Not next episode, but...
Yeah, it's gonna be fun having God. It'll be fun having Gad. I'll take them both.
You know what? He could have Gad over, have a couple beers.
Make a good religion. Like, if we need to introduce a new... say Christianity... It's not really working out well. Let's invent a new religion. Gad. I worship Gad. I pray to Gad.
I swear to Gad.
They're like, do you have like a Minnesota accent? Why are you saying God like that? No, I worship Gad.
No, Gad.
Gad.
Now, is Josh Gad someone you Steve Ball 180'd on? I feel like he's somebody that you would have hated. I don't know why.
I think I wanted to, but I kind of liked Frozen. And he's in Book of Mormon, and he
was he? Was he one of the original cast?
Yeah, him and
is that where he came from?
I think that was like the first big thing he did. Although he's done crap before, but I haven't seen the crap. Like, I never saw The Comedians with Billy Crystal, and he's a good actor.
Yeah, like everything I've seen him. I haven't seen him in much, but
he's one of those actors. Like, it was what they call character acting, I guess. But it's where you get something very specific. Mm-hmm. But if it's in the right place at the right time, I like it. You like him. He was the yellow bird in Angry Birds. That's what you like him from.
I like him from my favorite movie of all time, Murder on the Orient Express. I've watched the trailer 1,000 times.
Really?
No, I've seen it several times.
I don't know why I would. What, the really there?
Yes. I have seen the trailer a bunch because it's before I feel like every movie ever made now, and the trailer cracks me up because the reveal of Kenneth Branagh is hilarious because his ridiculous facial hair.
It's absurd.
He looks like, I'm like, this is a joke,
They're
right?
playing really serious R&B, modern R&B music under it. It's like, I don't know.
It's like music that would play during a phone commercial.
Yeah.
Normally.
I'm like, everything looked cool. Like, they have a great cast. You got
Judi Dench for some reason, like coming out of retirement. Judi Dench.
She said she was retired. She is in a full-length movie.
Did she? Yeah. Did she lie to us?
Well, she was saying, like, because when you get...
Did she just want to get out of the M role? Like, you should have just said, I don't want to play M anymore. They would have said okay.
Victorian Abdul, where it's like a Queen Victoria biopic.
She's doing more than one movie.
She's top billed in that. She's the main character.
What the fuck? Like, you don't need to lie to us, Judi Dench. Just say you don't want to. We wouldn't be mad if you don't want to be in Bond movies anymore. You've been doing it for like 25 years.
Well, then, like, I thought the reason she wanted to retire is because she's getting old. You can't remember the lines.
I heard she was going blind.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Which, that's like,
honestly,
guess what?
Maybe she was like, crap, I can't act anymore, I'm going blind, but they found a way around it or something.
Yeah, they're like, yeah.
They like, when she needs to walk a certain way, they go like this.
Hey, over here. No, left, right, left. They pull her along on a string and just edit it out. There's always someone behind her in a full green screen costume with their hands on her shoulders just guiding her.
No. It's like a seeing eye stunt double or whatever.
She should, like, if she goes totally blind, she could just be she could be to blind people what Marlee Matlin is to deaf people.
Yeah.
So they need representation in movies. So.
Dench is such a good actor, like, she could convince us she could see. But you got, that whole movie, you got Ridley, Penelope Cruz.
Gad.
Branagh directed it.
A giant thumbs down in it is Johnny Depp.
But
he's far in the negative column.
The rest of the cast, I'm like, I'd love to see that. Murder on the Orient Express is a cool story.
Yeah, I've actually never read it or seen any representation of it.
Of it.
So yeah, I think it would be. I've the closest I've come is there was an arc somewhat parodying it on the Adventure Zone podcast.
There you go.
So it was a D&D version of it.
Yeah, it's
one of those things where, like, you've seen a version of it somewhere. Like, I'm sure The Simpsons has done it too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's basically Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Yeah. Basically. How do we... Oh,
Gad.
Gad.
Of course.
Pray to Gad. I guess we should do Fan and Ultimate and... No, we did Ultimate.
We did Ultimate and Fan.
Fan and... It's the same.
Are you having a stroke?
No, it's well, maybe. That frickin' Jameson up the nose.
Who knows what that did? It went through your tear ducts. You're getting eye drunk.
Yeah, eye drunk. That actually could be. It could be like when...
like butt chugging?
Butt chugging. Yeah, thank you. It's... Like, it's certain...
it's all connected by your sinuses. You could drink out of your eyes, I'm sure.
Like, yeah. Like, isn't it true if you have a cut and you pour liquor on the cut, doesn't that get you drunk?
Probably, right?
It's got... Well, I don't want to say it's got to, but...
I would assume it would get into your bloodstream.
Yeah. Like, it's not going to get you shit-faced, because it's...
If you stick your arm into a vat of alcohol, it probably would. By the way, don't do this.
Well, like, if you sat in a pool, like a hot tub full of whatever...
It would soak into you.
Liquor of choice. Well, get in your butthole.
Yeah.
And whatever else you got going on.
And your pee hole.
Or your vagina if you're a woman, or, you know...
And like, I'm sure a certain amount of it soaks into your pores and stuff. That gets into you somehow.
Yeah. So I wonder if that, like, how drunk that gets you. First of all, disgusting.
Yeah, don't, like, gross.
Second of all, like, expensive. You have to buy a lot of liquor to fill a tub. A hot tub, it's bubbling.
just the boiling hot vodka.
Ugh.
It would evaporate too. We're treating this like it's a real thing we're gonna do.
Here's what we're doing. I'm stalling because I don't got a comic of the week.
You don't got a comic. I don't got a podcast. So keep it going.
Just love. Yeah, we'll just continue.
Yeah, we're just rustling. I'm flipping through my phone.
I'm like, what series am I reading? That's
I
good?
I will say this, and I haven't talked about this yet on the podcast. I fucking hate the Apple Podcast app. It's
Really?
terrible. I need to find a new solution because I can't look at episodes that I've listened to. I have to go back through like full podcasts and be like, did I listen to one of these recently?
Really, I don't have like a previous. That's weird.
Yeah,
That's
you can't make a playlist that you can go and look at.
But this is something you could do. You used to use Google Play podcast app, right?
No, I used to use Podcast Addict, which
was a. And you can't get that on Apple?
No, for some fucking reason, it's not on Apple.
Because they probably want you to use the iTunes one.
But there's other podcast apps on the iTunes store. Just that one isn't.
I got good news for you, though. I thought of a comic of the week. So
great, I have a comic, so we can.
My comic of the week is Mr. Miracle #2. That's just the most recent one. The Mr. Miracle series is sweet. I guess it's something DC's going to start doing, which is kind of like they're basically doing Matt Fraction Hawkeye. Like doing stories that on a specific kind of more obscure character that exist outside of DC canon, or like at least what's going on in the main universe.
Yeah, they need more of that, I feel like.
One thing too is I really like New Gods, but there's not a lot of comics. Like I don't know where to read for like New Gods stuff. And I don't want to read the old shit.
I don't even know what that is.
That's like the Apocalypse New Genesis stuff.
Oh.
The guys who fight Darkseid.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Miracle is. I knew who that was.
Yeah. It's Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, Orion, Light Ray, some other people, and they fight Darkseid and his goons.
Actually, I don't know if I have a comic, because fuck it, if I used this recently, I don't even care. Anything else to say about Mr.
Good
Miracle?
comic, go read it.
I guess Hawkeye #6, because that's one of the few series I've actually read, like begin reading again. And big news from Marvel, which is just another giant fuck you, is that they finally started putting the digital versions of their comics back in to the comics. But now that means people like me who entered all those codes in now are just missing like 5 issues of every series in the digital collection.
I wonder what pushed them to take it out, and then what also pushed them to
Well, I'm
put
sure
it in.
what pushed them to bring it back was a lot of people complaining, and I bet you it was just costing them digital sales to put it in there originally. But now they just look like idiots for taking it out in the first place.
I bet they weren't getting... Maybe someone thought that people would buy both the hard copy and the digital.
And I'm sure there was a segment of people who did that enough to where they're like, we can make us $4 more doing this. Here's another thing that annoys me about iPhone is that the Comixology app.
Yeah.
I used it a lot on Android, or not a lot, but some. If there's a comic that I want, or like that I missed the physical version of, I can't buy it from the Comixology app on iTunes or on my iPhone, like you can on the Android one. I'd have to go on Comixology.com, or I'd have to go back on my Android phone and buy it, because they took out because Amazon bought Comixology, and Amazon's owned by Google, so that's Android.
Yeah.
So, every app that you spend money, like microtransactions on the iPhone, Apple gets a cut of that. So they realized if we're selling our comics through the iPhone app, Apple is getting a cut of our money if they do that. So they're like, you can no longer buy comics from the app.
Weird.
So, like, I understand it to a certain extent, but also it's like, so we have to get punished for that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where they go, usually they would aim to please the customer, but in this one, they profit more from inconveniencing the customer.
Yeah, and guess what that means? That means I'm probably never gonna directly download or buy a digital comic again, because it's just, I don't like. I'm lazy, frankly. Like, me going on to the website and trying to remember my password is enough effort for me to convince myself I don't really need to read that. I can save the $4, $5, $6.
It takes away the what in-app purchasing is good for.
Yeah.
Impulse buying.
Exactly.
Because then when you have a little bit of time to think about it, you're like, man, maybe I don't need Justice League 412 or whatever.
Yeah. Whereas if I'm playing Futurama, I'd be like, oh, I only need this much more to unlock Chris Hardwick. I'll buy $2 worth of pizza and not even think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why those games are dangerous. It's not just that you can. It's that I can be like, what's $10? I don't see the $10 leaving my hand.
Exactly.
It's an in-app purchase.
Exactly. And it's so tailored to impulse buying that they took that completely out.
It's tailored to impulse buying. It's tailored to drunk people, too.
Oh, God,
You ever, I've had stuff mailed to my house being like, oh, fuck, I got way too high, I went on Amazon.
Happened to me recently with a Rick and Morty t-shirt.
Yeah, like, okay.
That I was like, I forgot that I actually bought this. I remember thinking about it. I remember, like, showing it to people, be like, look at this fucking shirt, this is funny. And then it showed up, I was like, oh, hey, I bought this. And it was from one of those sketchy Facebook ads, too, where, like, I was like, that was risky.
Yeah.
Like, that could have easily stolen my information.
Yeah, the weird, like, I keep getting ads on Facebook or Instagram. It's those t-shirts, but it's clearly made in China, and all they do is they say what characters are popular and what kind of generic phrase can we put next to them. So it'll be like Rick, or Pickle Rick, or Deadpool, or whatever's kind of popular now. And it'll say a thing like, you don't mess with me, I'm a badass. Or something like
My favorite ones are like the heroes are born in September. Or whatever. Like,
exactly, yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
There was one,
and it's like a picture of Jon Snow or something.
And I have a theory that it's Chinese. It's people, they don't watch the shows, but they look and see what's trending, and they, think of a stupid shirt to. So when Pickle Rick was really big this summer, you get a Pickle Rick shirt. But what was funny, I saw there's a character in SpongeBob. He's a sea cucumber.
Yeah. He
kind of looks like Pickle Rick. They had a picture of him and it said, I'm Pickle Rick. And it was clearly they just found the wrong picture.
If that's not an accident, it's on purpose, that's funny. If it isn't, or if it is an accident, that's even funnier.
Like, it sucks they pulled it. I'm like, it'd be funny to buy that. It'd be like the Boba Fett with the blaster that chokes people. Like, look at this weird one they made.
I mean, yeah, you could, probably make that yourself. Yeah. Like, on one of those fucking t-shirt sites that are clearly selling copywritten character shit.
Yeah.
With, not doing anything about it. Holy shit. My throat just got really dry.
You did a comic of the week. Hawkeye number 6. How do you like that series?
I like it. That arc was her teaming up with Jessica Jones.
I find that series to be wonderful.
Yeah.
I like it as much, if not more, than the Fraction one. Because it's all Kate this time.
And everyone who writes that character now has a really clear grasp on how Kate Bishop acts.
Yeah.
She's always been really uniformly it's not like other characters where another author's writing her, so now she's gonna act completely different. Everybody gets that tone.
Well, I think too, one thing that's cool about her is she's not Hawkeye sidekick.
She's Hawkeye.
She's it's kind of like its own thing. I don't know. It's
and then that's the whole thing about it too. Is there will be characters who no, we want Hawkeye. She's like, I am Hawkeye.
Got it. She's not Hawkeye lad or whatever.
Hawkeye. Yeah, Lady Hawkeye.
Yeah. My podcast of the week. I'll talk slowly because I know you're going to find one.
Jesus Christ, I don't think I'm going to find one.
It's going to be... honestly, it's the most recent episode of Two Dope Queens, whatever that is. Podcast, it's always on the top of the charts. I listen to it. It's very entertaining. I don't know the name of the... Jessica Williams is one of the hosts. I don't know the name of the other host. Very funny. Very entertaining. I've actually been trying a lot of new podcasts.
I'm sorry.
lately.
What was the podcast?
It was called
okay.
It's Two Dope Queens.
Okay.
One of the
I heard you say it, and then it left my brain because I was reading
I'm
something.
talking to the customer at this point, which is what I call
the
listeners.
happy customer. I hope you enjoyed spending money on our podcast.
Yeah, you're $0.00. You spend.
I just like.
I've been trying a lot of new podcasts lately, but coming up dry.
Yeah, I always go back to I basically now am I listen to Harmontown, Comedy Bang Bang, Tell 'Em Steve Day, My Brother and Me. I have a solid 7 Pistol Shrimps Radio, just a solid 7 or 8 that I'm those permanently. James Bonding's kind of in the rotation, but I'm
Never Not Funny.
Never Not Funny is not up there. I guess what I'm saying is I listen to 20 podcasts, but
yeah.
It's all the...
No, there's certain ones where I stopped listening to My Favorite Murder. It's not that I dislike the podcast. It's they release 2 a week, and I was falling way behind. And it's not I like it, but it's not I can't miss a second of Never Not Funny just because I have OCD and I've become obsessed with that show.
And that's the show too. You miss something, and you feel like you missed out.
Yeah. Because it's really, the show is just an ongoing conversation that just never stops.
Keep talking.
So
I can't remember what I've listened to.
You go and download some of these podcasts, and I probably know when to talk, but they're really boring, and you're there's a billion podcasts. Can you make yourself stand out just a little? Or although maybe this isn't for you. Especially with comedians.
Yeah, not every comedian needs a podcast.
No.
They're not all suited for the format.
Cracks me up now is people who were in the A-list and now they've Russell Brand has a podcast. Never listened to it. Could be good. But I just find that interesting. Okay, he was an A-list star at one point.
Yeah, he was above the title on movie posters. Now he has a podcast.
Anna Faris has a podcast too, and I'm you're I just feel you're too famous.
Yeah, she does.
I've listened to it too. It's not good. I didn't like it.
She's getting divorced. Maybe it'll get good.
Yeah, she'll start bringing that real raw.
She'll start complaining about Pratt.
Chris Pratt, is he a good guy? I don't know.
Oh God! You know how much it would shatter everyone's view. The world would fall to pieces if they found out that Chris Pratt is an asshole. That's one of the few constants in the world. Is oh yeah, Chris Pratt's a genuinely great guy.
Here's the thing, and I'm probably being a cynical asshole about it, but he always visits hospitals, sick kids, really nice stuff. There's always a camera crew with him filming that shit, so I'm it's just suspicious to me. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm genuinely looking.
Do you need help?
No, I just can't remember what I've listened to. All right. Let's just go with. I don't remember which one it was. It was a recent Harmontown that Schraub came back to that made me laugh.
Oh yeah, that was funny. It was the one where he describes shoes or socks. It's in the title.
Yeah, he did one of his rants where he went off on. Shit. This is my bad. We do this every episode. If I can find it, I'll let you know.
I know this has become the homework portion. God.
What's the thing too? I listen to podcasts all the time. I love listening to podcasts. I never think of I really enjoyed that. Screenshot, remember it.
It's kind of the thing too. It's we're both behind on podcasts, and we both I don't know.
We're going out on a fizzle. This one.
I know. I love this. Just fuck it. Download The Gap. Should have promoted that at the top.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be on it.
Yeah,
I was already on it.
The app will be released in October, which I guess is coming up on Sunday. So
yeah. Shit. Yeah, it's I forgot how close it was. October 1st, 5-year anniversary. Send us presents.
You know, when you've recorded 198 episodes of a podcast, you can be as tired as we are.
Let's 198. What do you think? Like probably average of an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Per times one, or whoops.
Although we're getting we're hitting the 2-hour mark right now.
Yeah, I'm subtracting some for the CarCast, and then our old episodes I feel like we're shorter.
CarCasts are an hour, so that it gets balanced out with the home shows.
49,000 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, we're tired. We're sleepy.
Hang on. No, wait a minute. 198 times an hour 25. 247 hours.
That's that movie, James Franco.
And that's the sequel. The original is 147. Or 127. No, the sequel's 247.
It's the one where he
divided by 20.
Cuts his arm off with a Swiss Army knife.
That's 10.31 days that we've talked on a microphone. And this is a loose average. It's probably longer.
Yeah.
And then that's not to mention you have another podcast that is almost... Well, what number is that at? 170?
143.
140?
Yeah.
Wow. There was a point when we were behind. Well, I guess you guys took a year off.
And continue to do so.
My anniversary of being on that is coming up.
Yeah, you'll never be on again.
Good.
I can't get Sean to show up.
Well, I mean, the last episode I listened to, he talked about it like it was torture.
What?
He said something like, "Can we just all move so we never have to do this again?"
Like that. Yeah, it's become a sadomasochistic thing where we all just get there. We're like, yeah, I guess we'll do this again.
That should have been my podcast of the week. I'm glad the Jerry Sessions is back.
Yeah.
Me, Ricky, and Alex Rydell are all very happy.
It's like grandma's on her deathbed. She's had Alzheimer's for the last couple of years, but she has one good day where she kind of like remembers your name and then right back to being a vegetable. That's Jerry Sessions when we release an episode.
Yep. You described it perfectly.
So anyway, go download The Gap. Andy's been on it. Saw Alien. I'll be on it soon. See Psycho.
October 3rd, 2015 was the last time I was on the Jerry Sessions.
If only we could go back to that time.
It's a simpler time.
Pre-Trump.
We were all happier.
And enjoy the honk.
Well, you've made it to the end of the episode, but don't worry. Our heroes will return. In the meantime, you can rate and review this show on iTunes. Don't use iTunes. They're on Stitcher, too. You can also stay updated by liking their Facebook page at facebook.com/Optimism Club Podcast and by following @Optimism Club on Twitter. Now let's hear that horn one more time.